Good evening and welcome. Tonight, we navigate the sharp edges of a world tour in the quiet, steady steps of a nation rebuilding its foundation. From the final countdown in Tehran to the far reaches of the lunar landscape and back to the resilient heart of Hargeisa. This is Africa Focus on KOW TV. My name is Maurice Mbugua. Now, we begin with the analysis of a global crisis that has now reached its 38th day, pushing the world toward a terrifying precipice. As we speak, the clock is ticking toward an 8 p.m. final deadline set by the US president, who has reportedly warned that an entire civilization could be dismantled in a single night if a deal is not reached. The rhetoric has shifted from tactical strikes to national threats, with Washington allegedly indicating it is prepared to target the very infrastructure that keeps 93 million Iranians alive. From an African perspective, the cost of this stalemate is being felt at every petrol pump and kitchen table, while mediators from Egypt, Turkey and Pakistan scrambled to propose a 45 days cooling off period. Both sides have reportedly dug in their heels. Tehran has dismissed the offer, stating it will not negotiate under the shadow of an ultimatum, while Washington has labeled Iran's demand for permanent security guarantees as excessive. On the ground, the systematic dismantling of Iran continues. The internet has been dark for over a month, the longest blackout in history, and key gas fields shared with Qatar have allegedly been struck, threatening to plunge the entire Middle Eastern region into darkness. As oil sits at over $109 a barrel, the numbers behind the headlines are becoming increasingly tragic, with the reports of children killed in residential strikes and the assassination of high-ranking intelligence officials. The world now waits to see if the dawn of day 39 will bring a miracle of diplomacy or the Stone Age promised by the White House. While the other remains locked in conflict, 4 individuals are returning from a place of absolute silence. NASA's Artemis II crew is currently homeward bound after a historic journey that took humanity further into deep space than ever before, surpassing the record set by Apollo 13. Over 50 years ago, the crew, including 3 Americans and 1 Canadian, captured never-before-seen 3-dimensional views of the moon's far side. During a 40-minute communications blackout as they looked behind the lunar surface, the astronauts reportedly experienced a transformative moment of isolation, observing the Earth as a distant, fragile marble. This mission is the final bridge to NASA's goal of landing boots on the lunar South Pole within the next 2 years, that is by 2028. Beyond the breathtaking views, this voyage served as a critical live fire test of the life support systems and navigation tech that will sustain future Mars missions. The crew conducted several deep space medical experiments examining how high altitude radiation affects the human body over extended periods. Engineers on the ground have confirmed that the spacecraft's heat shield is in optimal condition for the upcoming re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Now, as the spacecraft plunges toward a planned splashdown in the Pacific Ocean later this week, the success of Artemis II effectively ends the half-century lunar void, a signal that humanity is no longer just visiting the moon, but is preparing to stay. Moving on to the Horn of Africa, the Republic of Somaliland has undergone a major institutional recalibration. President Abdurrahman Mohamed Abdullahi Ero announced a sweeping cabinet reshuffle, appointing fresh leadership to several strategic portfolios. This move is being analyzed as a clear effort to increase service delivery and align the government's top tier with its ambitious national development goals. Among key appointments are Dan Gedi, hired for agriculture, and Dr. Abdisalan Hussein Awale for communications and technology, 2 sectors vital for Somaliland's economic resilience during these global shocks. Perhaps the most significant appointment is that of lawyer Bakad Jamar His Batun, who takes over the Ministry of Information, Culture and Awareness while serving as the official government spokesperson. Minister Batun, a figure widely respected for his experience, has pledged to be the voice of the people and to lead the ministry with total dedication. By also appointing a senior presidential advisor on foreign affairs, President Ero is showing a more aggressive push for international cooperation at a time when the Red Sea region is becoming a center of global geopolitical interest. For the citizens of Somaliland, this reshuffle represents a new energy in governance aimed at ensuring that the state remains steady even as external pressures mount. The economic ripples of the Middle East war have hit the copper belt of Zambia with full force. The government in Lusaka has officially declared the current fuel supply situation an emergency as the effective blockade of the Strait of Hormuz continues to choke global shipping lanes. Residents in Zambia report spending hours searching for fuel, with local business owners stating that their businesses' operations are affected because they can no longer move goods regularly. Now, Zambian energy experts warn that this is not an isolated problem, noting that roughly 75% of African nations are currently facing similar energy insecurity. In a bold attempt to shield its citizens, the Zambian cabinet has approved a 3-month measure to zero-rate VAT and halt all excise duties on petrol and diesel imports. However, despite these tax holidays, pump prices have still climbed by over 20% this month, reflecting the sheer volatility of an international market that is currently disconnected from reality. And finally, we end tonight with a powerful signal of peace from the Salar region in Somaliland. Traditional leaders and elders in Fiki Adan have publicly declared their readiness to support national stability, reaffirming their commitment to security in the area. This announcement follows a series of high-level consultations between local communities and a government delegation led by the Minister of Interior and Security. The elders have pledged to work hand in hand with the Somaliland government to strengthen security and promote peaceful coexistence across the region. The visiting delegation welcomed this move, describing the cooperation between traditional clan structures and state institutions as the essential foundation for development. Now, in a week dominated by talks of war, the quiet consensus reached in Fiki Adan serves as a reminder that true security begins not with an ultimatum but with a handshake. And that story concludes our bulletin today. From the far sides of the moon to the front lines of our markets, KOW TV remains focused on the stories that define our continent. Thank you for joining us on Africa Focus. My name is Maurice Mbugwa.